WardiTV Korean Royale is decided right here. In the bottom left-hand corner, to begin this series, our Red Terran player from Onside Gaming coming out of a grueling best-of-5 semi-final against Classic. Can he take down another Protoss? It's Maru. In the top right-hand corner, he didn't have to play today just yet, due to the schedule and the way it worked out, but he is. Also, he came out of a grueling best-of-5 himself. He was down 0-2 in the semifinals, took down Dark in the end. In the top right, some noise in the chat, please. For Dragon Kaiser's herO. Zergiel, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs to Tony Rosso, Jeremy SE2, Temla, Coffeelisk, and Fenrir GG at the start of this grand final. It is best of 7, and we will see who is going to be the first to 4 points, the first to take us to the first WardiTV Korean Royale Championship. Again, there is a guaranteed second season of this event with $10,000 on the line later this year. Probably around August is what we're aiming at right now, guys, just with how other events have kind of lined up to try and make sure that there's not going to be conflicts with players not wanting to play too close to other tournaments and so on. And then we will, right now as well, we've guaranteed a Season 3. We're still just trying to push up that prize money for the Season 3 via that Indiegogo page if you want to check that out. Factory goes down, and we are going to be seeing a no expansion start from Maru. He's going to open with the double gas. He's going to be a little bit more aggressive on the opening here, so we'll see how this approach works out. Obviously, herO, who's so fond of being aggressive early game too, these are the kind of builds that can really throw him off, because then his aggression really gets nullified in a big way, because, of course, you're playing against someone that's just being that much more defensive on one base to start the game off. So that's going to be one of those big things that you've got to be very aware of here. As a Stargate will begin. A Nexus is about to finish. A factory about to complete. And a command center also coming through in the next few moments. Hellion on the way out. A reactor about to be done. And this first Adept was shading into that corner. That apparently is not a wall-up. So I guess that's good to know. So, yeah, herO not quite getting the wall-up over on that side. His map pick as well, herO had a higher seed than Maru coming into this finals based on group stage scoring. Obviously, there's no reason to kind of, say, what happened in the playoffs or anything, but in the group stage, herO went basically 12-2 on maps, while Maru went something like... herO went like +10, while Maru went +8, basically. Maru dropped a couple more maps in the group stage, and because of that, he does end up with the higher seed just to pick the first map, then Maru gets to pick map 2, and they just keep on alternating like that. A very minor difference, nothing as severe as, for example... oh, we killed the Reaper. Nice catch. Nothing as severe as like a server advantage if this was like Korea versus Europe or so. Just the first map pick. I mean, first map pick is nice, but like I say, Maru gets a map pick straight after. The Reaper does go down, so the Adept is like, oh god, this is not a wall-off. Let's try and hold here. And he actually does get the double shot. Somehow reached. That Adept Glaive had some extra power to it. That's an upgrade that's apparently not on the Twilight Council, but the Adepts can just tap on into sometime. He flung that glaive like, no, she flung that glaive like no other Adept had before. This Phoenix just slaloms through the Widow Mines in and out of the main base. Not getting caught by those, not taking a shot. And, yeah, a couple of fun moments to start off this game number 1 of our grand finals. Obviously, herO likely just saw those Widow Mines and sees where they're at, so just can, no, it wasn't like a tight fit through the Widow Mines or anything, just... able to miss them completely, which is always nice. Our command center in the main base is going to be CC number 3 on the back of this 1-1-1. As you do see herO with a couple of Phoenix into the Immortal, into the Robo Bay. But just seeing this so much in the PvT. This is obviously a bit of a rerun of what we just saw Classic doing pretty much throughout his previous matches. Just going straight into the Robo Bay, the Colossi, only a couple Phoenix initially, so really prioritizing all them Robo units and tech, and then getting the Phoenix count going again once the Colossus is on the way. So, not just Classic, it's herO that's doing this too, and obviously for Maru, he'll be a little bit warmed up against this kind of style. On this very big map here as well, worth noting, the one thing I do feel about Altitude, for as big as it is, there's a lot of surrounding potential. If you can get 2 armies split up and collapse in on a Protoss force, there's a lot of open space to make a play like that. So that's one thing I do like about Altitude, and I do feel like there's a few dropping pathways that can be quite useful as well. Not a lot of dead airspace for the drops to kind of lurk in, but just a lot of space to cover in general because of the size of the map. Once you take the 4 bases, there's just a lot of different entry points to keep your eyes on. So one thing to be a little cautious of is the Protoss as the game develops through to a later stage. For now, third Nexus, Colossus, Maru building into Stimpack. His Marine production is on the way. As you've seen, pretty standard stuff across the board. It's not really anything too wild or unseen from these two. Obviously, the third CC ready. It's just a question of when does Maru feel safe enough to move out to take that as well. And there is the Phoenix production continuing again now that we've got our Colossi production well underway, which I think was kind of something we were absolutely expecting to see at some stage, and there it is coming in right now. Hallucination trying to pick up further information here. We would love to just see as much as possible, make as good a read as he can. Obviously, the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. Maybe you make an extra unit here or there. Maybe you do a couple of different things. Lots of different approaches you can go for. As we Chrono Boost the Nexus and the Robo Base still pumping out Extended Thermal Lance. Coming up to being about halfway done at the moment as our missile turret pushes the Phoenix away through the bottom. Just getting those straight out of there. Cyclone, a couple more Marines, another Widow Mine, all moving down to the low ground. We do have Stimpack combat, +1/+1, 2 more medevacs, all being produced at the moment. So all of that on the way in. A lot of building from Maru, a lot of upgrading. Obviously, once those upgrades are done, it is typically time to get going, make a bit of a move out. The Phoenix count's gone a bit higher here. We're going to go diving into the mineral line. 6, 7 SCVs already dropping. So 7 SCVs picked off pretty much immediately. I mean, this is what you want to do with these Phoenix, but it does mean the Phoenix aren't on the map. Maru gets to move across freely at the cost of losing SCVs. Now, as the Phoenix pretty much drain themselves of energy, they're not in position to defend. They can't even poke away at that Raven. Like I say, it's giving Maru the chance just to walk straight across the map. Well, that Widowmine's going to hit. Boom! 4 dead Phoenix. I mean, you pull back home, like I say, how much energy do you have left over anyway? I'm going to say not really very much, so not sure how useful the Phoenix is going to be in this fight. I mean, even if they, I guess if they still just take down the Raven, that would be nice. Maru's not going to commit to a fight, though. He's backing it up a little bit, just holding the watchtower for the moment. Happy to stand around with that. Do you see our third CC, our fourth CC built next to the third CC, so Maru just powering straight up into further eco in this game. He is just going to keep the eco game rolling. He really is not slowing down at all. Got the 4th base from herO, so he's also going to look towards his own 4th. You know, in a matchup where the Protoss expands more quickly, it sort of shows just how fast that 4th base is. As there's our opportunity to get the Raven, we dive for it, we get it! It's costly. It does take a couple of Phoenix out of the game plan here from herO. He drops down to just having 3 remaining, which is not a great number. But, well, the price of getting rid of the Raven is very valuable for a very short time frame, right? Where, you know, in the 10 seconds of a double Colossus Matrix, your army is that much weaker. Is it worth losing 2 Phoenix overall to get rid of that moment? The 4th base straight up killed here. That's not even a cancel, so Maru just dives in, gets the 4th, and slows herO down. This will start to be a problem for herO soon, because he is up against a Maru that is expanding extremely quickly. And yeah, I mean, doesn't matter how well you trade. If you don't have a 4th, you don't have a 4th. Obviously, still a chance to rebuild it here and everything, but Maru is going to see that base sooner. And so far has been just as efficient as herO in this game, so I like that a lot. This Widow Mine, dead center on this group of units, splashes onto the Colossi shields. One of the Immortal barriers gets ripped away there. And another couple of Widow Mines in the map, actually just already getting to work on some Zealots. There's 2 over the left side. Good force fields here as Maru will not want to fight into this straight away. 1 more Widow Mine, getting a shot off on a few Zealots. A couple more mines getting burrowed up. They will clean the rest of the front line out. There's final Widow Mine to the side. Good split away from herO last second to keep that Zealot from splashing into the rest of the army. Especially when you've already taken a few bits of splash damage, as herO looking to try and kill the 4th base of Maru. That'd be a perfect way to counter the fact you just lost your own 4th base. He will not quite kill it, but it's not going to be able to take location. herO has not rebuilt his 4th. I believe there's a Widow Mine blocking it, and that's slowing him down. He doesn't have detection on the map outside of building a cannon, so he's waiting on that. And as we do come through, another Marine going down. A couple Phoenix going to move in. Cyclone getting a couple shots off. Marine Marauder going to keep on fighting Phoenix. Gonna have to be careful here. Move a bit too far forward. It looks as though Maru is happy to take this fight. He's chasing a little bit. He's starting to pull SCVs. He's not quite sure if he has enough or not. 2-2 now finishing. That's going to be much better for Maru if he does end up taking a battle here. Maybe that's part of why he didn't want to go full chase mode. against this Protoss army just yet, and obviously can't really disagree with that. That makes perfect sense. Better upgrades are always going to be better for you. 2-2 does start from herO as he begins to disengage, finding his way out from this corner of the map, from this bottom side. And Maru will be able to move forward a bit himself. Obviously, there's the Observer finally to actually provide proper detection against these mines. Maru just says, let's go for this then. Vikings will work on the Phoenix initially. We had some EMPs come down. Archons and Immortals kind of getting covered, but this was not a good fight at all for Maru. I don't know what caused him to decide that this was the moment to engage in, but it really wasn't it. And, well, you can just see the aftermath is going to be this Protoss army looking pretty terrifying, although maybe not quite. Maru is going to hold on. Somehow only lost 2 SCVs in this defense, and despite a horrendous start, herO lost a lot straight after. So first Maru takes a terrible part of the fight, and then herO takes a terrible part of the fight. herO's going to keep on going, though. Not afraid of the upgrade deficit. He's going to push in. He's going to have Maru backing up into the natural. The Colossi should be full, and he's, of course, got the Disruptors to help dictate where Maru can and cannot be. With that BO4, the Viking count's been taking a beating too. The less Vikings there are, the better these Colossi survive. The better off we're going to be there. 4th base of Maru on the far left of the map. The Prism going to go down. herO will not have micro and reinforcements from that anymore. Takes an EMP all over his army. One more EMP coming through. Is there a follow-up here? Can Maru actually get on top of this and clean out? His problem is if he chases too far, he has to go through the choke point that is that ramp, and that would be a very painful experience. That would not be a lot of fun. And I then think that that is probably not going to happen. Another Disruptor shot coming through. Ooh, it gets cancelled as it gets killed. Now we get rid of 2 Colossi. The damage is quickly disappearing from this Protoss army, and Maru, the upgrade still in play, is going to clean up everything. Yes, he's lost 25 SCVs, but he can go straight across the map now, and it's going to be a scramble for herO to spend his money and to rebuild an army. At least he might have 2-2 before a final defense has to come into play. Even up those upgrades at the very least would be nice. My goodness, Maru turns herO around, and herO has to go running in the end. And there wasn't really much to run with. Pretty much everything died. So a reset on that army, and that might just give Maru the chance to go all the way across the map. herO's walking on a tightrope with the army being in the center there, not having the Prism to reinforce properly or anything any longer. And, you know, eating some EMPs and just getting jumped on. Boom, all of a sudden. Again, the upgrades especially, being down a set of upgrades in these fights, I think it's been quite notable because there's been so much bio just jumping on top and doing so much so quickly. Can't help but feel the upgrades have had a major role to play during all of that. Couple of Zealots, the Archon trying to run back up to the top. Maru is kind of just on top of these bases, going to put himself between these couple as EMPs will just clean up those Archons, no issue. Archons cannot really be the major part of your army when this many ghosts are available. You can just see Maru. This is a swarm of Terran. Maru has entered Zerg mode. Okay, that's not great lag spike timing, but I don't think it really makes a difference. That's going to be GG's. Maru is going to take game number 1 here. I'm just going to do a quick ping check myself. My ping is fine. Just got some lags today. Someone's having a rough time on the Korean server. the cast is game number 2 in the top left-hand side. Felt like he had it, and then he didn't. And then he definitely didn't. Looking to bounce back. It is our Red Protoss player from Dragon Kaisi, herO. Bottom right corner of the map, our blue Terran from Onside Gaming doing, well, he's playing like the guy that people say to play like. Maybe because he is him. It's Maru. I mean, that turnaround is pretty sick. I think herO just did kind of play kind of a little bit on the edge, right? Was a little bit kind of... It was a dangerous situation, you know? It was a dangerous little situation we got into where he was kind of in this weird... You know, basically, like, herO, like, had a really good fight, but the moment the Prism went down, you can't reinforce, and Maru has reinforcements prodding through, and again, the upgrade lead just enables you to take fights in a pretty decisive way. And the way TvP fights go, I think, is what it really comes down to, is that if one player has a little more, you just see the game kind of collapsing. The other player just doesn't have the damage output, nothing gets wiped out, there's not enough splash, the Terran army just keeps on wailing away at the Protoss forces. In those kind of situations, it's really difficult for the Protoss. So if you can't get more warp-ins there, if you can't retreat or save the Colossi or micro them with the Prism, your army becomes so much weaker almost instantly. So Just really felt like that was a moment where herO maybe needed to reconsider, go back home a little bit, and obviously not just stick around as we ended up doing, but sticking around really did backfire on him. Casted a Maru here the other day, and that was a Maru victory as well. He looked pretty darn good in that series. It was from the KSL finals. Well, I casted that one from a replay. You might have seen it if you watched the stream that day, or maybe the YouTube channel or something. But, yeah, Maru has just been pretty darn solid when he does show up to these events recently, and, well, see if he can close this tournament out. Again, big prize pool difference, $1,250 difference between first and second place. So this is a $1,250 prize pool difference. What's funny is these players both went 6-1 in the group stage. So they both earned $300 in the group stage prize pool, which means that we actually know that the final earnings for first place will be $2,800 today, and the final earnings for second place will be $1,550 today. Pretty neat, if you ask me, guys. It's pretty darn decent. I'm gonna say I'd take it. Like I say, it's the first season of this WardiTV Royale. It's fully sponsored by WardiTV. Obviously, we can do this because you guys are awesome and support the stream and watch and sit through ads and subscribe and stuff. Obviously, we are still funding future seasons over on the Indiegogo page. If you want to check that out, !Korea in the Twitch chat. hellion coming through. Yes, not really talking much about this game. The barracks was kind of positioned a little bit awkwardly. He opens, herO opens Blink, so we're going to go straight into that. And kind of a question of how many gates we get up to. There's Reaper and Hellion trying to combine for some damage here. He does get that probe just before the shot went off, so that is a probe kill. And on top of that, obviously, all of the scouting information is now we do take gateways 3 and 4. We are going to commit through to the 4-gate Blink. So herO wants to get aggressive here on Dragon Scales. It's not the greatest map because the ramp up in the natural, but there is a good amount of space to blink into the main base with. So that's why I think herO can definitely find some value. And I think he just wants to bring a bit more of an aggressive kind of stance to this in general, because this is the Terran's map pick. He kind of wants to not let the Terran control this kind of game. Yo, Andietta, thank you so much for the £3 donation. Hello, good job and thanks. Thank you so much. Also, Dominator, thank you so much for your resub during that last game as well. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, as I wouldn't mind. Number 1 does burrow. Oh, I was going to go for a bunch of probes, then went for the Stalkers, then turned back on the probes, gets 2. The Widowmine in the medevac still alive, but the medevac low HP. He can probably dive through one Stalker to get that dropped and to get some more damage done on the mineral line, at least force some more lost mining time, if nothing else. You should survive the first shot and then get the unload, I would imagine, so we'll wait for that. Maybe when is a bit more distracted. Maru is still poking around with that medevac here and there. He is going to send his Raven across the map. That's one less unit for Maru to defend with in his base. As the first couple of Adepts shade through the natural into the main. Well, there's a lot of Marines there, so I'm not going to say that they really do too much. There is the drop. The medevac did go down. And the Widowmine will obviously get cleaned up following this as well. We will clean up both of these Adepts. Don't really love that they went in there. Maybe just felt like it was like, ooh, access. And it's like, oh, crap, so many Marines. We're going to go for the Siege Tank, though, so everything's in the main base. Maybe we do love the Adept. Siege Tank and potentially the bunker as well. Do we have enough DPS to get rid of the SCVs? Okay, we just target down an SCV, a Mule, and make it a second SCV and a third before we blink out. That's fine. Obviously, you don't get rid of the bunker, but you get rid of the SCVs. And some damage dealt by herO, because the Marines weren't there to support it, allowed him to make that play onto the Siege Tank. So, actually, turns out the Adept weren't so bad. Kills the reactor while Stim just started. There'll be a minor delay on Stim. You've got to rebuild the tech lab, but that's still a delay. Add-ons are kind of annoying to deal with as the Raven across the map is getting some probe kills. That's what's going on. Raven just dropping auto turrets and being, well, pretty darn annoying. So, some damage being done. herO in the main base still, though. Look at the resources lost in the bottom right. 850, now 1,000 to 1,700 again. herO trading very well. And Maru not really mining from his main base properly. He lost a barracks. His production is being cut down. Tank firing again. 9 SCVs still being picked away at. We're going to work our way through this barracks, and our Stalkers will continue to just ping through it. Barracks still taking some shots. A few more Stalkers going to go up over in the corner. And we're going to blink through. Going to make a play for the tank here. We're going to have ourselves a chance to target fire the Marauder here too, you'd imagine. Prism Micro because the Blink's on cooldown from the Blink in. I thought he would have target fired the Marauder, but he just lets the Stalkers fire on whatever they wish. It's going to be effective enough, I think, as herO has got the lead here in this game number 2. Looking to tie this series up 1-1. There's still the Order Turret going big on the other side of the map. The Raven doing what it can, but the main base has been lost for Maru, as the Orbital is actually going to go down very shortly. I don't think we have the SCVs to necessarily repair through that, although we're just going to prioritize jumping onto the units instead, just because that's a more definite way to close this game out. Stalkers work through everything, and this really should just be GG's. There it is. herO takes the game number 2, and just like that, we're all to game number 3, as we have in the top left-hand corner Neo-Humanity for this map. This is back to herO's map pick, and hence we'll start with herO in the top left corner in the red. Bottom right, the blue Terran from Onside Gaming. It's Maru. SCV right across the map. That's a very aggressive SCV setting up on the top side, so we will get that into position. So we're piling down to the right, a gateway on the way up, probe coming through, barracks will produce. It's going to rally up to the top as well. Two refineries building from Maru, and just going to see the gateway going down out on the bottom side. So they're both getting aggressive. One proxy racks, one proxy gateway, obviously 2 gates in total. I think I typically like this for herO. 2 gates is generally just pretty good against any sort of aggression that might come through. JOTV for the £4. Apologize for playing that race. I'm sorry for playing the caster race. Sitting here casting games instead of... Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I like this a lot for herO, man, because, you know, Maru's barracks is on the map. It's going to be harder to get defense at home. And hero's going to be able to have a defensive unit while also getting an aggressive unit. I guess we'll see, right? I mean, obviously, it depends a little bit on whether he can actually do anything at the front here as herO, which is not necessarily a guarantee. So it swipes the SCV. Obviously, Maru sees the low ground gateway, which is already aggressive intentions too. He builds a bunk on the high ground. I think it's not going to be a chance for herO to do much. Maru will have to expand high ground, most likely. That's probably fine. I don't think that's the craziest thing to have to end up doing. I think that's kind of okay. Reaper hops up into the main, and the bunker here is going to be finishing in just a few moments' time. Let's get that bunker finished up and jump the Reaper into it so we can play nice and safely against anything that shows up. The Adept! Oh, now he gets the SCV. The SCV jumping into the bunker to actually keep itself alive there. So nice control, nice quick thinking. As the barracks is going to start retreating home, and the factory's getting a tech lab on it, so in the end, this aggression is just going to negate. Maru got the information with the SCV scout to basically say, cool, I'm just going to, you know, set up a bunker, make sure I'm walled, and just guarantee that this is not going to be too problematic. The 2 Reapers are going to go for the pylon powering that gateway. Ideally, you don't want to lose power to this gate because obviously you can still use this gate to warp in for a little while. So, yeah, that's not really something you want to have happen, but unfortunately at the moment it's happening. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to go. He doesn't lose power, though. The Reapers are going to actually move forward themselves, and I'm sure he'll go back to it in a little bit, Maru, at some stage to try and actually deny that gateway at a later point. Steps come up, 1 Reaper going down. It's going to see another Reaper getting picked off as well. So Reapers don't really do much else. CC lifting off. We're going to move over to the natural. Our probes. Just going to chrono boost the probe again and just see a couple of cyclones up into the main one more time. Cyclones lock on. Just going to be seeing our Phoenix gets chased over to the right. Robo facility will be finishing. This game just kind of going back to the Phoenix style. I mean, I'm not, not going to say a lot because honestly we've kind of seen this kind of play out, you know, a lot before today. Phoenix and the Robo and stuff. Into that Robo Bay eventually. See Phoenix come through, a couple of SCVs is going to get lifted, a couple of Cyclones make their way around as well, and just seeing a couple of SCVs do go down. We do have our Robo Bay still producing here from herO, so that's still on the way out. Both these Cyclones head on down to the south, and just going to move into the natural. We do have our Observer continuing through, Sentry still coming up. Nice peaceful game. Considering the opening, going to turn into a really nice peaceful game. I mean, we were set up for absolute carnage, but yeah, instead we get a little bit of like joyful macro, I suppose. Stimpack and combat +1, obviously, until those upgrades are done. Maru has no real intentions of moving on this map. Obviously, herO waiting for Colossi and so on as well, so he's just trying to get into all of that as well here. A couple of Cyclones moving through, the Viking coming across the side. Just so you know, again, Colossus far from finishing up. Just going to finish off the gateway, just make sure it doesn't get repowered at any point. And, you know, at some stage it's going to provide information too if you just leave it there. So, got to get rid of it at some point. Now is better than any other time. Because you're not doing anything, you know, nothing else is happening. And you have extended thermal lances. Coming up to being about halfway done, so extended coming through, and obviously a Colossi will be that much better off as well. I wonder if Maru just pushes and doesn't ever look back, like just kind of one of these tier-based pushes similar to what killed Classic in that final game. You just kind of bring a couple of SCVs, you get up a couple of turrets, and you just take a position and you just go from there. New Humanity's a map that actually has a lot of good positions and ledges to put those tanks in. And still a lot of potential with that, as we do have the army of herO back toward the upper right-hand corner. A couple more Stalkers warp in, extend thermal lance is still about to finish. As Bioforce of Maru just moves up the right. As our Cyclones locking onto a couple of the Adepts, and we take the Watchtower here. The couple Colossi are still kind of poisoned themselves. We get a couple shots off. Tanks already taking some hits, and there's a couple of the turrets coming down as this army pushes up. We'll just see our Phoenix pulling back as well. Missile turret taking some extra damage. Tanks will siege. Here we go, big fight. I mean, herO has the right idea. Go into this ASAP. There's the double matrix, though, so how do you go into this when two of your Colossi are out of the equation? This is where Classic decided to pull back, but I think herO just decides to commit, but it's not going to go very well. He loses everything apart from the Colossi, but honestly, I mean, if there's nothing to protect the Colossi, can we not just jump on those as a follow-up? Wouldn't exactly say this looks brilliant just yet, as Navajo still moves up. Vikin's going to grab one of those hallucinations, just going to knock that down. Well, hallucination doesn't matter too much, but look at this tank positioning. That's the sort of thing you can do here on Neo Humanity once you get into position, and obviously the position is very much taken at the moment as our Vikings come by. Colossi just taking a couple of shots. Marauders working their way through this Nexus as well, so just knocking down the third at this point. herO can't really stop this, and Maru doesn't have to rush into this. He's got herO pretty much pushed back to 2 bases. Pushing into the natural from the gold mineral ball is actually very good for the Terran too, because it's very choked up. The tanks can fire up the ramp. I think this is looking pretty reasonable, although Disruptor Shot will try and ruin the start of this, as it's just so many Vikings. At some point these Colossi aren't even going to be a factor. The Prism will get knocked down, then you can't save units as easily. This really is getting worse and worse here for herO, as one Colossus does indeed fall. Like I say, the Viking count just getting to that point where we can shoot down the Colossi quickly without some kind of super battery, and you obviously can't have a super battery all the time. Without that, the Colossi really just are constantly vulnerable. Two more shots. Prism still taking a bit of a beat, and the Phoenix will go down. We're actually going to come moving forward here. The tank fire going to go big. First Colossus drops down dead. We kill off one of the disruptors. We target the other with the tanks. Yeah, Maru just executing perfectly to wrap up this game 3, and Maru is back in the lead of the Grand Finals with a 2-1 advantage over herO. Logic. Let's do it. Let's just go into the StarCraft. Bottom right-hand corner from Onside Gaming. Now a blue Terran player. He is in the lead of the series once again. Let's see if he can defend the lead this time around. It's Maru. Top left, our Red Protoss. Dragon Kaiser's herO. You know, going into this event, I think a lot of people might have said Maru, herO. The favorites going in. Here they are on the Grand Finals. They were my #1 seeds of each group as well. Maru from Group A, herO from Group B. They were #1 seeds of each of those groups, so kind of fitting that they make it to the finals. They both went 6-1. herO slightly better map score. He was 12-0 until he lost 0-2 to Beyond. Maru lost to Dark in the final play day as well. So they actually both had similar stories, both 6-0 until their final match, and they both lost their final match before heading into the playoffs. But it didn't really make a difference. They both locked into first place of the group before then. Some fun similarities from the group stages as we set up here. In this game 4. Maru win this, and you're on match and tournament points. Again, a $1,250 difference between first and second place, so a big series. Forward pylon from herO. Maybe time for a little bit more aggression. Get that forward pylon down. Cybernetics on the way up. Zealot's about halfway done already. Gonna drop a mule down into this main base. Get that set up, and our SCVs continue to mine up as well. So all of that just coming through here. Nothing really overly crazy just yet. We do have our Stargate also building from herO and his proxy, so that's what the crazy part of this will be. Obviously, I guess Stargate before Nexus as well, so very aggressive. You're not crazy because we already knew the pylon was there. This isn't kind of out of left field or anything we saw it coming. Can Maru see it coming is going to become the new big question. He is not SCV scouted, he is only Reaper scouting, and he went the wrong way to actually spot the proxy, so currently Maru is blind against this. As the Zealot shows up, the Reaper will be still back here, and that's the thing. By obviously choosing to Reaper scout, he didn't go across the map with the Reaper, so he also doesn't know that there's kind of a missing Nexus on the other side. The Adept showing up now too, and these first couple of units in some trouble. Every Marine you kill here is one little bit less of one little bit less anti-air. That's not a phrase. Is one less unit of anti-air. There we go. I was missing a word. It's one less unit of anti-air to fight against the incoming Oracle. Turns out when you put the extra word in, the sentence makes a lot more sense, guys. I was like, I can do this. I know what I want to say. Why isn't it sounding correct? Why doesn't it sound right? English, yeah. Oracle flies in. There is nothing in the main base. SCVs are going to be dropping in. Maru doesn't even pull them away, man. He's got an Adept in the natural, and yeah, he just didn't know what was happening here at all. Oracle is just lasering down workers. This is a ton of damage, and Oracle number 2 is well on the way. A Widowmine pops out. Well, here we'll just watch to see where that burrows so the second Oracle can avoid it effectively. And, well, just going to actually lead the first Oracle in. Oh, the splash damage is going to allow him to kill so many more SCVs. I love it. Now you just have so many SCVs in one-shot range. It's so worth it. 100% gives up the Oracle to get so much damage done. Even the Marines getting splashed onto. What a play from herO. Because this herO aggression is going to go all out. There's a Reaper across the map trying to do something. He actually kills 5 probes. But, I mean, he's lost 14 SCVs. Yes, herO's expansion is late. Up about 5 workers only, but there's still not really anti-air. The Cyclone is still just building. Does herO have another Oracle that can deal damage before that Cyclone is done? It's actually going to be kind of close. Okay, the Vikings chasing one Oracle away. The other Oracle will head into the main base again. No, he's going to peel away. He knows he can't do much more. And I tell you what, that little bit of counter-aggression, actually getting rid of some of those probes was big. Because without that, herO would have been monstrously far ahead. As it stands, I still like it a lot for herO. It's just not maybe as crazy as it would have been otherwise. And the probes across the map down really did make the difference. Now Adept showing up. It's obviously a bit awkward because the Cyclone has to defend the main from the Oracle. So you can't defend the natural very easily, and you're not really mining off of your natural properly, which is one of the benefits right now here for Maru, who is going to have to start building a siege tank. And that's why I like it for herO, because on top of the damage done and the position right now, it's the control of the game, and that really lies in the hands of herO. And when we're at this super high level of StarCraft 2, I think being able to control the game is such a massive advantage. Yes, these two are very good at working against someone who's controlling the game and, figuring it out and switching up whatever they need to switch up and trying to fight back for control. But having control in the first place when they're both so good is just going to be a major advantage, and I think I like that a lot for herO then. As Maru's going to see the attempt of a third base, he's going to land that Viking. It will not get down, and that's going to be a dead probe, so that probe will fall off screen as the Viking gets that kill. So successful play there for Maru, denying the third for a little bit. These Adepts shade in, and that's going to be a disaster. That's going to be quite costly, in fact. So Adepts all go down without doing much else. Nexus still coming up around that left-hand side, and just seeing a couple more Stalkers warping in on this Stargate, so just getting all of these warped in, ready to move. Blink is about to be done. A couple of Oracles are going to make their way over to the right-hand side now as well. Getting everything set together right now. Stalkers will move through. Going to blink straight onto the siege tank. We do have, well, tank and denied immediately. There is a tank on the high ground. We're not going to chase into that just yet. We'll just finish off this bunker. There was an SCV or two inside there from earlier that Maru never brought back out, apparently. Auto turret doesn't last very long against Stalkers anymore, and, well, you had to just kind of drop it to buy a bit of time. Problem with Grezvan is you do have the movement into the main base, which is quite viable here as well for herO. So no ramp into the natural, the potential to blink into the main base after. There's one Widow Mine protecting the blink into the main. Revelates it, so it's not even going to get a shot off, so it gets killed as well, and that's just going to make that blink up more viable. The second tank and Maru has to kind of defend that main base a little bit, and that's what's going to make it so difficult. He does go for the tank. It's straight into a lot of the bio units. Is this too aggressive from herO? Auto turret and Viking helping out, and I think it is going to be a good enough defense from Maru. It's quite expensive for herO. He loses a lot of Stalkers. And yes, there's value to keeping your opponent on the edge and kind of in a bit of a weird position where he doesn't really have quite enough tanks or anything. Stalkers coming around, a couple more Marines getting knocked out of here. Stalkers back around the corner. I'm just going to sit there as, oh, Raven nearly moving back through. We do have the tank firing again. Stalker gets pushed out. Job well done. Charge about halfway done, couple extra gates, and the probes all producing still. The robo facility still just starting up as well. Nice catch on this medevac at least. That won't get anywhere. Not that there was much in it. So that just goes down, and, well, here we'll continue to gain control, I think is the real phrase right now. Fourth base on the way up for herO while Maru sits on 2. And that's where herO just fights his way right back into this series again. Down a map, but will not be if he wins this. Then we're all tied up with 3 to go. Siege tank gets set. Our Marine getting picked. And again, just little bits of damage. Doesn't have to be a lot. Because right now, Maru is not in a great position. So any little bit of damage that you can find is really going to help you out. As Zealot's going to charge in, man. That's a problem. We don't really have a good way to get rid of Zealots. They're very tanky. And there's not really a lot of damage output here. The single Phoenix is going to go Raven hunting. It is going to get the kill. I thought it was going to die to the Marines beforehand. Now Stalker's just hitting things that don't really have the range to fight back against Stalkers as Maru trying to cling on for dear life in game number 4 here on Grezvan. You know what the problem is, Maru? You picked this map, and no one's allowed to win their own map pick in this game, apparently. Surrounds the Viking, but you know what the powerful part of the Viking is? Even if you're surrounded, you can just jump into the sky. We'll see if he does so. I think he just lost it. I think there's too much going on at the front. As the Zealots are going kind of down, but man, there's even more Zealots on the way, and herO just has way too much. And that is going to be GG's. And we're tied up once again, 2-2 in this best of 7. we continue to go the distance. In the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Terran player from Onside Gaming. Give it up and cheer him on. If you're looking for the power of Terran, it is Maru. If you're a fan of seeing my YouTube comments survive this series being uploaded, you want to cheer on this guy, because YouTube has never seen a Protoss player win anything in the last 6 months, apparently. It is our red Protoss player, herO. Tying up this up 2-2, getting into game number 5. Oatboy, thank you so much for the 19-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you so much as well. Hermes64 on the £4 donation. Thank you for supporting the stream today, guys. Thank you for the love. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying the event. I do want to just take a moment to say thank you, everybody, for watching and supporting and everything. Obviously, we took a pretty major risk putting $10,000 into this tournament to begin with, especially in a day and age where, honestly, a lot of the players that draw a lot of viewership are, you know, yes, Maru and Beyond do, but, you know, a lot of the players that draw a lot of viewership are the Max Paxes and the Raynors and stuff as well, so running a kind of more or less Korean-only event was a little bit of a risk, but you guys really got behind it. The crowdfunding's obviously been amazing to help further the seasons happen, and the viewership and the support throughout these events has been amazing as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for supporting and helping us to make this one a success. Appreciate it. Reaper on the way up, as we have our orbital command coming through, our Nexus and our Zealodol coming in. Here for game number 5. Thank you so much, Never Spoil, for the 5-month resub as well. I appreciate it. Oh, that probe nearly got the SCV kill. Maru had it calculated, though. Reaper got the probe just in time to mean that the SCV didn't need any repairs, didn't need to pull away. SCV just gets to sit there as the probe fails to get the kill. Alright, let's actually watch some stuff as the Reaper going to come through. And just going to be moving around a little bit. Moving up to the top. Well, he's going to find the Zealot. That's going to be it's a cool position because the Zealot swipes once, and now you can't justify jumping toward the main base because of the Adept. So it's actually a pretty cool little catch. Reaper moves back down through the center. Couple CCs coming up. The factory's still coming through. And just seeing how a couple extra Marines producing as well. Zealot peels over. This time Zealot going to sit in the Reaper jump-up spot, but the Reaper tries to get in over here. The double Adept combo is good enough to deny it. When you have a look at the vision, was seen. Well, we did jump in. I'm not sure if he actually clicked on the Robo, though. Man, you know what's fun is when this tournament started out, all the time I was casting herO, I was like, man, herO keeps opening Robo facilities. And it was just like a week and a half where herO, just in every PvT he played, he opened this Robo build. And then, you know, I kept mentioning it, and he stopped doing it. I was like, okay, it was just a phase. It was just a fad. But now he's going to actually use it here in this finals. 2-2, tied up, going into game 5. I genuinely believe he played this build non-stop for a week and a half because he wanted to know the ins and outs of it and how he can use it and how he can utilize it in a bigger series like this one right now, right? So, let's see. He's going to open with the Prism. That gives him some good micro potential and some good aggression. However, the setup from Maru is pretty good against a Prism because he's going to have a Cyclone and a Viking. They are both very good at just pushing that Prism away, and that's going to be absolutely goal number 1 here, to push that Prism out and away from where we are currently set up. So that's going to be the first stage of this. As you do see our Prism coming around the left-hand side, and he's actually going to go into the natural to start, which is completely undefended, so the 2 Adepts and a Stalker will get 1 SCV. Going to get number 2, but this is the problem. Prism locked onto, and Viking down. Okay, well now it's just a trade-out for workers, but can you say that those first 3 units plus the Prism were worth 4 SCVs? I'm going to say no, because the follow-up problem here is that your Twilight Council is late, and all of your other tech is late. All you have is the Robo, and now you're using that Robo to rebuild a Prism, so that's less time it could build like an Immortal or something. So, yeah, honestly, pretty great start for Maru, who I suddenly feel like is in an amazing spot because that's just a massive denial for 0 damage taken. So, fantastic start. And we'll see if herO can claw his way back into this, because I love where it is, or where it's going for Maru at the moment. The Stalkers making their way across the map. The 5 extra gateways producing from herO, as he will go charge, and with charge being this quick on the follow-up, maybe he can catch Maru a little bit off guard. Obviously, siege tanks are good defensively, but not as great against charge lots in a world where, you know, the charge lots can just survive those tank shots. So, you know, you can maybe overwhelm in if there's not enough Marines, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not immediately completely convinced or anything just yet, as a Viking and a Raven defending over toward the main base. It's off an Observer, which is nice as well. Just, again, more things to rebuild out of the Robo, which just stops the Robo from potentially building more useful things further down the line, such as Colossi or, an Immortal or something. As the upgrade start from Maru, I feel like if nothing else really happens here, eventually he just pushes on the map, and I feel like he's going to have a pretty sizable advantage. He's ahead in workers as well. Something has to happen, and that's why herO's warping in aggressively. That's why he's getting set to go. That's why he went charge first. He knows he needs to do some damage here, and he's going to set up to do that. It's a ton of gateways. It's 8 gates. It's pretty much an all-in, and into the natural we go. Zealots charge on through. Now, there's not much of a defense initially, as the Zealots charge straight through here. SCVs will hold position to minimize the Zealot damage. We're waiting to see what we want to do with the Raven. It's yet to cast an ability. 13, 16 SCVs going down. Maru, obviously no bunker or anything. And now this Natural Command Center is going to have to start floating away to try and get out of trouble here. Uh-oh, Natural CC is starting to burn down. We're going to lose the Natural Expansion. That's not a good start. Well, herO is completely committed to this attack, though, so you would hope as Maru that maybe there's still a way for you to hold this off and still be in an okay spot. But as this siege tank goes down, it looks as though herO maybe has too much. This attack was not one that Maru expected, and this is why it was so fun to see herO playing this build for 2 weeks straight, pretty much, because he learned the ways to follow up to it. He learned so many different follow-ups. He never really did the same thing twice, from a fast Colossus to this charge all-in, and it's just so hard to then predict what he's going to do, and herO goes all out, must-win attack, and it does exactly that to put him up 3-2. Game number 6, and for the first time, we can say it's tournament point for our Blue Protoss player in the top left corner of the map. This is herO. In the bottom right, our Red Terran from Onside Gaming needs to win this one to stay in the tournament, to try and win this grand finals. This is Maru. This guy, Corndog, thank you for the 4-month resub on the Prime. Much appreciated. Thanks for priming us up today, helping to keep these tournaments rolling. Thank you so much for being a StarCraft eSport hero. Gateway racks coming down. What were the predictions like in this series, by the way? Let me just have a quick peek there. Wow, Maru, 71% on the predictions. People saw him shredding and said, yeah, we're going to take Maru today, but, well, herO's in the winning position. But honestly, I think Maru is one of the players you can never really count out until it's over. I think the only time I've ever really counted Maru out before it was over was probably in Katowice, in the grand finals this year, because, like, he really looked like he wasn't going to be able to win that series. Like, there was a point where just, like, you could see it on his face almost, you know? Lilypad, thank you so much for the fresh new Prime sub as well. Thank you so much. Wardy, do we have another tournament coming up? What, today? Not today. But we do have WardiTV Spring Tournament starting up as soon as this week. We'll have some qualifiers, and then main portions of that event starting up afterwards. So, yeah, more WardiTV tournaments coming right up. We're obviously going to start building up into the WardiTV Spring Championship. You guys have obviously crowdfunded the WardiTV Korean Royale Season 2, $10,000. That's looking like August, but it may be moved forward should the situation arrive where that just becomes applicable, for example. So, yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on other events. I'm just trying to work around other tournaments to make things work out as best as possible. DreamHack Close Qualifiers later today? Yeah, I'm not approved to cast DreamHack Close Qualifier, so I can't. As our Reaper comes out onto the map. Twilight Council, next is all setting up. And we get this ready to rumble. Hey, I didn't fill in the form to cast the Close Qualifiers, so I'm not actually allowed to. Not that I was really going to anyways, because I would have had to... The problem is I didn't really want to because I would have had to put stream delay on for the very start, and I didn't want to cast the entire day of today with stream delay on to cast, you know, depending on how long this ran, to maybe cast like one series of the close qualifier, you know. So I didn't bother signing up. So it's not that I'm not approved, but like even if I wanted to, I'm now not approved to go and do it, you know. So I also did it so I didn't suddenly decide to do a crazy thing like cast something and then, you know, cast too much today. So yeah. I'll host up whoever's casting it, probably Roddy, right? As we do have our Nexus coming in, Blink as the opening here from herO here on Babylon for map number 6. We go to Royal Blood for map 7, guys. See, here's the thing, by not being approved, you guys... by not being approved, you guys can't convince me to do it, and then my girlfriend can't get mad at me when I'm like, well, God, I'm sorry, Twitch chat paid me loads of money to cast this extra, you know, so... I'm simply saving you guys from the wrath of Helen. I'm saving you from the wrath of Helen, because she would come in here and she would F you guys up. She would tell you guys that you're complete and utter for making me work more, you know? Reaper coming around, Adept is setting up, Blink is going to be finishing. As you just see a Stalker on the way through, and... Reaper is going to go after the Proby for a little bit. Yo, Anders, thank you so much for the 58-month resub. As we do a little bit of reconnaissance and setting up here for this game. Number 6. Rian Flesh, thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime. WardiTV and SE2. Can't save it without you guys, though. You guys are like my sidekick. You know, yeah, I'm out here fighting the good fight and saving StarCraft, but like, would I ever be able to do it without my trusty sidekick of your Twitch Prime subs? No, probably not. Had it been knocked down a long time ago. Oh my god, you said my random French word name correctly? Well, gotta get some of the Twitch names right. If you just randomly attempt to say, if you just randomly attempt to say all the Twitch names that subscribe to you, at some point some of them will actually have to come out correctly. The odds are in your favor if you just do it long enough. Yeah, Raw Slasher, thank you so much for the 8-month resub on the Prime as well. As we do have 3 more barracks building up from Maru. That's 5 racks on 2 bases. That's a 2-base all-in, guys. Just in case you can't figure it out. That's actually pretty serious. I mean, big commitment here from Maru, who just wants to go across this map one time and basically see success against a Protoss player who is getting Blink set up, obviously taking that 3rd base right now as well. All of that coming through. A couple of Widow Mines go bang bang, and a couple of probes already dropping down here. Mortal building up, Medevac moving away from that natural. Only a couple of probes. Anything you can do to slow down the Protoss as you set up onto 2 base all in is going to be pretty powerful. This Medevac does get away, by the way. If it can escape these Stalkers, that's amazing. 1 more Medevac to heal up during this game. Every unit counts. That's how commitment, you know, that's how committed these games become. That's how committed these attacks are. That's how close these things can get. Yo, JWB Mining, thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Also, Void Quicksilver for the 2-month resub on the Prime as well. From here on out, guys, this game's going to get aggressive. So if you sub up, I'll give you shout-outs afterwards. Because we are about to go across this map as Maru. We can't really be waiting for much more than the +1 stim in combat shields finishing. So it's pretty much going to be go time. Bio coming forward. Tank will siege. Obviously, one of the issues here is you're playing against these Stalkers. These Stalkers are quite annoying. So you just need to try and keep them pinned back. Need to stop them from kind of delaying you coming across the map. hero's just going to immediately counterattack. So into the base we go. Full commitment straight in here. Couple of force fields going to knock this army in half. Matrixes go down on the Immortals. Well, the force fields are going to kind of allow you to buy a bit of time still. There's the counterattack of the Prism and the Stalkers. Maru actually has a surprising amount of number of units over here to try and help him defend. As this gets pushed back, man, herO looks like he has nothing on this side of the map. These Zealots are going to do nothing themselves. They do not have charge. And this, my friends, is looking to be a Game 7 on the board. This attack of Maru is going to go straight on through, +1 helping, but honestly, just number of units. The counterattack of herO didn't do enough for how little he had to end up defending here. Trying to drop on top of the tanks. That Bioforce just 70 to 21 army supply. At this point, Maru can reinforce as well. He knows the units are all on this side of the map, so he doesn't have to keep anything back at home. He can send at least one round of reinforcements straight across the other side, and yeah, that is going to be a Game 7 in this grand final. We are going to go the entire way, the entire distance today. We're going to see every single map as we do see the Prism going down to our Widow Mine, but here are the reinforcements. Maru will not go down without every last possible fight. Pylon goes down, the Robo Facility depowered. The probes are just going to get nuked as they pull in to try and help, but it will not be enough. As our Stalkers will blink. I mean, it's a lot of Stalkers, but unfortunately Stalkers suck. Stalkers suck when there's that amount of Marauders there, especially. And that's GG's. Maru will tie this to 3-3. Yo, herO, just as we get started, 5 gifted subs to the community, hitting Slim the Troll, Shamel the Phantom, Laser Charles, Seul the Tron, and Campo Chess. Thank you so much for your generosity as SCV instantly onto the map from our Red Terran player in the bottom left corner from Onside Gaming for one final time in the WardiTV Korean Royale. This is Maru. Taking on the blue Protoss in the top right corner. This is Dragon Kaiser's herO. Second SCV on the map. Probe coming across the other side. Oh my goodness. Well, the probe is just scouting, so you'll have an idea that something a little bit crazy is going on early. That's obviously good news, as maybe we go and hunt down that barracks, man. Killer Dave gifting a sub over to herO after the gifted subs from herO. Thank you for the generosity. As we see what sort of chaos is going to happen. Second SCV is just going to go to the natural, by the way. Check, sees no Nexus, and it's going to pull back for now. Well, that's definitely one way for this to pan out early on here. I guess with the second Rax idea, just kind of being scout, he decides not to go 2 Rax, decides just to play the 1 Rax. Yeah, I don't hate it. Just kind of adjusting to what you see. Very smart. Generally improves your chances of winning, would you believe? Generally. herO did not see the barracks, guys, as the engineering bay goes down. But he's got the probe over here, so he roughly knows there's a barracks somewhere. Roblet isn't the largest map, so I don't think his defense changes too heavily based on whether this is a proxy Rax or just a Rax that's slightly on the map. So I don't think seeing it or not seeing it here really makes a super major difference. Ruby shows up, Robes takes some damage. Stalker about to be out. Obviously, Maru Engineering Bay blocked the natural, so now herO has to take that third location. Now there's a bunker actually there, but the Stalker gets the Reaper kill. Wow. That's actually a big deal. Because now the only threat is the bunker. There's no threat of the Reaper hopping back into the main base if the units come down to this low ground base to defend it. So it's actually a major deal because, you know, if all your Stalkers fight here and the Reaper hops in the main, you've got to be able to deal with that. Now you can fully focus on this low ground. And there's only 1 Marine. This isn't too major. Honestly, herO can probably cancel the battery. I'd actually like him to cancel the battery because it's the sort of thing which you can then... I mean, it's nice to have a battery, but is it needed right now? Like, you've defended against this, and herO kind of agrees. There's no need to have this battery. If there's no need to have it, there's no need to invest into it. Take that money and spend it elsewhere and improve your chances in this game. As you go Robo and 2 more gateways, the Robo build is back here for game number 7. Single Hellion, looking for some kills. Actually going to get a couple probes already, so not a bad start at all. But the counterattack comes in, and herO, while losing 7 probes, I mean, that's a lot of damage, but he is going to have 2 Stalkers over here. Can he get rid of the Widowmine? No, the probe. Okay, the Widowmine has to unburrow, but the Widowmine's going to get healed. Oh my goodness, we're going to give up a Stalker for this. herO wants to keep doing damage, loses 9 probes across the map. It's kind of ridiculous amounts of damage. That's a lot of workers. I mean, these Stalkers are uncontested apart from the mine right now, and by getting into the main, they're going to see the attempt to go Cloak Banshee. Now Maru's losing 8 SCVs. Kills the Marine that's chasing the Banshee. Will defend this, but of course, at least the Banshee's been seen, and because it's a robo, you will be able to build an Observer at least. That's a fresh mule, by the way. Doesn't go down as you recall the Stalkers, and the Banshee and the Marine get the shot. I think the Marine actually got the final blow there. It's the Marine helping to save the day. Holy crap. What a wild opening here in game number 7. Complete and utter chaos. We're going to save the Stalker here with the Prism so you can get rid of this mine for free. Can Maru defend? Problem is the Banshees are not exactly the best thing defensively right now because you've got the Prism to kind of dodge the mine shots and... yeah, I don't know, man. He actually cancelled Cloak, by the way, so it's just 1 Banshee across the map. There is a tank on the way, but it's going to come in from the front. Maru does not have a lot of units, and herO is knocking on the front door to say thank you for the Korean Royale. I'll take first place. Let's see if he'll get it. SCVs keep on going down. The Banshee is doing damage. The natural is evacuated from herO, but Maru does not have the numbers. He does have a siege tank, but every single SCV is dead. He'll have nothing beyond this, and herO is going to take it. Maru types out GG. herO is your WardiTV Korean Royale champion in a chaotic game number 7. A ridiculously fun series overall, and that, my friends, is herO taking it down and being the champion of the Korean Royale.